Hello and welcome to Step by Step by Miriam. In this video I'm going to show you how you can create a macro. A macro is used when you want to automate or standardize procedures. It's also very good if you find yourself creating the same scenarios repeatedly on a spreadsheet. So let's begin. The first step is you would require the Developer tab on the ribbon. I am currently using Office 2007. So let me show you how to get the Developer tab if you do not have it displayed on your ribbon. You would click on the Microsoft Office button and select on the Excel options here, just down at the bottom. Here on the Popular category on the left hand side, ensure this is selected. Then come over here to where it says Show Developer tab in the ribbon. Ensure there is a check mark here, and then of course click OK. So now we're set. What I want to do is I want this macro to create a situation where it can extract all the departments and categorize the salary by each department. You may remember, if you have watched my other videos, that I have done this using a different function. I quickly show you. We did this earlier on my sum if video. This was used by creating an absolute formula. So the formula was equal to sum if B2 to B26, which is the category of the department, pick out the word office, and so on. So we had to do that for each department. So running a macro is probably the quicker way of doing this. So let's go back to our department salary sheet. I always like to select cell A1 before I begin running a macro. One thing about running macros is you should really perform the steps first of all before you start recording, since a macro will record every single thing you do, including any errors. Okay, let's begin. So I've got my Developer tab clicked, so now I select Record the Macro. Now it prompts and asks for the macro name, so I will say Department Salary. I could offer a shortcut here, so I will try maybe Control and D as a shortcut for department. This means that I can perform the macro by using my keyboard commands Control and D. Now I'm asked, where would I like to store this macro? Would I like it restored only in this workbook, which is my department salary workbook? Or if I want this macro available on all Excel files, then I click on the arrow and select Personal Macro Workbook. But for now, I will just select this workbook and select OK. The name I have entered is not valid. OK, what have we done wrong? We have created a space between the two names, department and salary. Since this is programming, it doesn't like any spaces, so remember, when you're recording a macro, always, you can call it whatever you like, just don't have any spaces between the names. Department salary. Now let's click OK. And as you can see, it now says I'm going to record the macro. May I bring your attention to the bottom left hand corner of the screen where there's a little blue square, and when I place my mouse pointer on it, it says a macro is currently recording. Click to stop recording. Let me just magnify the spreadsheet a little bit for you to make it easier to read. My first step in my macro is I would like to go to the Data tab, select the department column and select A to Z and sort. That's my first step. Now I would like to click anywhere on my spreadsheet just to remove that sort. My next step is I would like Excel to create a subtotal for the salaries for each department group. Now I click on Subtotal in the Outline group in the Data tab. You can see that because I have nothing selected, it gives me a command could not be completed because the cell range is not specified. I select OK. This is because when I removed the highlight, I clicked on a blank cell. So always ensure that you're on the selected cell range whenever you want to create your subtotals. So now we click on the subtotal command, and now you can see the subtotal box appears. It says, would you like a subtotal at each change in staff name? No. So I click on the down arrow and I select department category instead. It already says the sum function. Now I could click on the down arrow here and select others, but that's exactly what I require, the sum, to add it up. So in other words, add up each department's wages, the salary, yeah? Because salary is selected. And then of course select OK. And again, to see that more clearly, I click on number 2. I have now finished recording my macro, so I click on the Developer tab and click on Stop Recording the Macro. And that is my macro. So now to take away and to remove those subcategories, I can click back on my Data tab. This is no longer recording. I'm doing this just now without recording the macro at this point. Subtotal, remove all. So that's how you record a macro. In my next video, I will show you how to play a macro and how to add a button, how to assign a button to run a macro. For now, let me show you quickly before I finish how I can use Ctrl and D to create that macro. There you go. Thank you for watching Step by Step by Miriam.